Hi everybody, welcome to session 10 of Phonics Time Together. We're continuing with phase 3 and we're looking at another digraph, the TH digraph that makes the th and the th sound. Okay, so as usual, we're going to work our way through the first few slides together so that you feel confident to sit with your child through the phonics session. Hopefully you'll pick up a few pointers and we'll help you then with what you can say to your child during the session. But if the number one thing I'd like to do with your children is keep it positive, really lots and lots of celebrations of what they're doing, keeping them going, because you guys are the ones that have got that really strong relationship with them and they're going to rely on what you have to say to them. So let's keep going. So we're working our way through phase 3. We've done set 6 and set 7 and we're getting through these consonant digraphs. And a little reminder, obviously 2 consonants make the digraph. So we've done CH, SH, and today we're looking at TH. And it's a digraph because it's got 2 letters coming together to make that grapheme on the screen. And that makes one phoneme in terms of the sound that comes out of our mouth. So today we've got the TH making the grapheme in front of you, and that's going to make that th or the th sound that we'll move on to a little bit later. Okay, so it's time for you guys to just have a practice at the pure sounds so that you can just remind yourselves of what they should sound like. And the idea behind these pure sounds, remember, is that children need to hear them and learn them this way just so it helps them blend and therefore have a better chance of reading the words on a page. So I will click 4 and let you have a go at them, and then I'll go over each of them just to see how well you're doing. Okay, so we'd say, are we ready? Let's go. S, j, t, p. V, g, d, n. Z, a, e, z. Y, qu, k. H, f, l, s. Sh, e, ch, o. W, x, ch, b. Okay, fabulous, well done. So we're going to keep going. We've done bolt speed, ostrich speed, light speed, race car speed, we've done all sorts. But today we're going to go in shooting star speed, and that might open up a little bit of chat about what happens in the sky and what a shooting star is. And maybe you want to try and find some videos of a shooting star, that would be useful. But we're going super fast, so over to you to go through the pure sounds as quick as you can, but I won't be saying them. Fabulous, well done. So again, at this point in the video later with your child, make sure that's a big well done for them for doing them so quickly, because we want them doing them quickly so that we get to that fluency with reading. We don't want them pausing, having to think about each of those phonemes that they have to say. We want it quicker and quicker so that they can easily read and blend the sounds on the page. Okay, so big well done. Today, just to break things up a little bit, instead of teaching a new tricky word, it's a good time to actually have a go at the ones that we've covered so far. And you might want to discuss the bits that are tricky. So if we look at he, be, we, me and she, they've all got the similarity of the E being the tricky bit, because they normally will know that as eh, but we need them to say the E. The was, the tricky bit is the A, because it should be a O sound in the middle, not a A. U, we've got the 2 letters that make an oo sound after the Y. All, we've got the A that's making an O sound instead of an A. And then if you remember, R is just one sound, R, a bit like the letter R. So that's the bit that's tricky there. So at this point later, pause, get them to practice reading their tricky words. If there are particular ones that they're struggling with, you might write that on a little piece of paper, stick it on the fridge or stick it somewhere that they see a lot, and have a few returns to that so they can keep practicing it and get that confidence. Okay, today we're looking at the TH grapheme. Issue with this one is that it can make 2 sounds, and it's all what happens with the tongue really. So if you think about the photos that we'll look at later with the children, we've got path, moth, and bath. The th is making the same phoneme for all of those. It's th, okay. When we make the th sound, as in this, the, them, that's a slightly different sound, and all that's happening is the tongue's vibrating a little bit more on those top teeth. So have a little practice yourself trying to think of that th in moth, and then think of the th in them and those and the, and just have a little think about what your teeth's doing and your tongue is doing. Then if your child is struggling to make those two sounds, you can actually then give them some directions about what they should be doing with their tongue, and so on and so on, making sure that they can say the phoneme. Okay, so we'll look at that, introduce them to those sounds, get them saying it lots, and then we will do some blending. And as before, if they're struggling to blend, we've got a couple of options down at the bottom. So for this one, we might just go th, I, k. So we can say each individual phoneme and then blend it together. Thick. Going back to what I said on the previous slide about the two different sounds that th can make, it's fine for a child to experiment with both, and which one sounds right. Is it thick or thick? And then it's going to come from practice, really, but that sort of trial and experimenting is perfectly fine. If we're also blending this word, if we can't hear it from saying each of the phonemes, the three phonemes, we could do option number 2 at the bottom. If you look, we can just go th, I, th. So we can blend the first two phonemes together, the th and the I grapheme, stick those together to make thick, thick, thick. So we can then blend 2 bits together. The alternative to that is number 3. We might, if we're struggling, okay, so let's look at the ick, ick, th, ick, thick. So we can then join the th to the ick. Option 4 is that build-up blending where we'll go th, th, I, th, th, I, thick, thick, and we can gradually build it up, which is sort of a culmination of the ideas before. So again, later with the child there, pause the video, have lots of practice of that, so we're confident. As we're confident, we can then move on to those these words, and I've tried to put in the th sound. The first 4 are all that th sound, and number 5, and all I've done there is put it at the end of a word. So we've got them, then, that, this, with. All of them are making that sort of different sound, and then we've got moth, thick, and path, where the th is making the same sort of sound. I haven't included a tricky word because you'll be practicing those on that previous slide. So working through those with your children, get them to read and get to a point where they're confidently blending them together. Then they will move on to the fluency and hopefully starting to read some of these words without needing to blend. Again, you should use these videos twice, and it's probably the second time through that they'll start to read more of these words without needing to blend, or they might take a little bit longer. That's fine, as long as they're getting lots and lots of practice. Okay, so we'll give them a big well done and a big well done for you too, really, for taking on this challenge. But yeah, you should have your own special celebration by now that you'll be doing with your child at that point. Sentences today, we've got a mixture of the two sounds that the th makes. So we've got this path. So obviously the 2 versions there is full of sacks. That bath had a chip in it. The quick ship then hit the thin shell. So we've got plenty to go out there. So again, you'll be pausing the video and doing some reading at that point. Following up, you can do the th challenge. Maybe write some of those words out, and can they sort them into the 2 sounds that they're making by reading them. You could do a tricky word speed challenge. So write all the tricky words out that are on one of the previous slides, and how quickly can we read them all and capture a score. If you then want to post that then on our Phonics Time Together page, that'd be great to see how well people are doing and getting through those tricky words for phase 3. Or you can then you start to say some of the tricky words and they have a go at writing them if they're ready for that. So I'd love to see some of that on our Facebook page. So thank you for going through that together and pushing yourself so that you're ready to sit with your child. If you solely just want to sit with them and be with them while they work through my slides, that's perfectly fine. But what I hope is that I give you enough sort of confidence and knowledge to be able to chip in and help your child if they do struggle, but also spot what they're doing really well. So for example, if they can make both of the sounds in today's video, just praise them for that. That's fantastic. You can do that. Yes. Okay, so at this point I'd pause the video and get ready for calling your child over to work through the phonics session together. Hi everybody, welcome to Phonics Time Together. Let's get ready to do another little phonics session together. And we know that we always start by practicing our GPCs, okay? So we see the grapheme on the screen and we say the phoneme, okay? So we should be ready, we should have nothing in our hands, we should be focused on the screen and ready to give it our all. So I'll do 4 and then I will go through them and then we'll move on to the next. S, J, V, G, D, N, Z, A, E, Z, Y, Qu, R, K, H, F, L, S, Sh, I, Ch, O, W, X, Ch, B. Excellent, really good today. I'm impressed with that. You should be confident with how that's going. So confident that you're ready to now do them at shooting star speed. Okay, so a shooting star is something you might see in the sky at night time. It's a zooming star. You might want to find out some more about those shooting stars because I'm not sure how fast they go. I think they'll be a little bit faster than an ostrich, but you might find out and prove me wrong. Okay, so we're ready to go through them a little bit quicker. Let's go. Wow, fantastic. Definitely shooting star speed today. That's really good. And if you notice, we had 4 extra in there compared to what we normally do. So we're starting to build up the number of grapheme, phoneme correspondences we know. So there's a few more to do when you do that. So excellent work. Now, let's get into our session. Today, we're not going to learn a new tricky word because you've learned lots already with me. So here are some of the ones that we've been learning. And what I'd like to do at this point is pause the video and have a go at reading all the tricky words that you should know now. Okay, today's grapheme on the screen is made up of the letters T and H. So those 2 letters are going to make one sound, one phoneme. So it's a digraph. Okay, so we're going to learn another digraph today. Here it is. Th in path, th in moth, and th in bath. Now the 3 photos on the side, we can see a lovely path working its way through a forest. We can see an animal that is very similar to a butterfly, but it's called a moth. And we've got the nice lovely bath at the bottom. But our challenge today is that this TH doesn't always make a th sound. It can make a th sound, where our tongue vibrates a little bit more. So when we do some blending in a moment, it might not be a th. We might need to say th when we see it. And we can have a little play with both and see which one sounds correct. And then when we practice, we'll know which one we need to say when we're reading. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at saying fantastic. Can you say th in path? Can you say th in moth? Can you say th in bath? Excellent. So our phoneme that's coming out of our mouth today is th, or it might be th. Okay, so we're going to have to look out for that. A little bit of a challenge today. Right, let's have a go at reading a word together. So we've got a word on the screen. Okay, so we've got 3 phonemes to say, and then we're going to blend them back together. So let's have a look. Thick, thick. Okay, can you have a go at blending that word? Excellent. So can you read it 2 more times, that word? Really good. Now, if you need a few more practice at those, just pause the video and keep going. That's not a problem. Let's have a go at blending some more words on the screen and listing out to see which version we need to say when we see our digraph on the screen. Right, so when we see a digraph, we can see that little line. And super readers, what they do when they come to a word they don't know, they have a quick scan and they see if they can see any digraphs before they start to read it. Because if we look at number 5, if we didn't spot that that digraph was at the end, we might say w, it, h. That's really hard because we can't make the word with that. So we need to spot that sometimes a word might have a digraph in, so we know we're only saying one sound for the T and the H. So number 5, we'll get to that in a moment. Right, let's go back to number 1. I'll do them, then it'll be your turn. Them. Fabulous. So my turn for number 2. Then. Number 3. At. That. Your turn. Number 4. Is. This. Super stuff. Number 5. Here it is. So I've seen a digraph at the end, so I must not say t. I must say that th or the th. With. And number 6. Moth. Moth. That was the photo that we saw a moment ago of a moth. Number 7, thick, thick. And there's number 8, that's another one of our photos, path, path. Yes, we might walk on that path. Okay, so at this point, pause the video, have lots of practice at reading those words, maybe in different orders. Make sure you can blend them and say the word. Okay, for some of these words, you might not need to blend them because you can just see it and you know that that is that word. So that's fine. So spend some time reading these words without needing to blend them. You might need lots and lots of practice. If you are still blending them, that's not a problem. Lots of practice and you'll get to a point where you won't need to blend them. You'll be able to just say the word, be nice and fluent. Great reading, everybody. Good job. I'm so impressed with you. Make sure you do your special celebration, your high five, or whatever it is that you do after you finish each section. You're doing a cracking job. Let's finish this session off together by looking at some sentences that we're going to read. So we've got lots of the graphemes we can see that we've done already. I can see a few digraphs. So remember, before you read a word, if you don't know what it is and can't read it fluently, a quick check, has it got any digraphs in, because we need to say that as one sound, not the 2 separate letters. So I can see on my screen, I can see the word sax, I can see chip, I can see ship. Okay, so we need to be careful looking out for any 2 letters that might come together to just make that one sound. So pause the video, have a go at reading those sentences. Finally, all there is to say is a huge well done and thank you for joining me for another phonics session together. Your reading is coming on really, really well. And if you want to keep going with this, a good way to sort of support this learning is to go on the Oxford Owl page, click on a book that's around your age and have a practice reading. And make sure you can pick a book that's got the graphemes in it that you know. Don't pick one that's got some graphemes in that you haven't covered yet or you're not sure about. Find one that's got the ones that you know. So maybe all the ones that we've done on our speed check earlier, that would be a good book if you can find one with those in. Oxford Owl is free at the moment for parents, so I would use that and do some reading to help extra practice. Okay, excellent. Please subscribe so you can see all the videos that as they come on, or join our Facebook page to keep updated as well. Apart from that, have a great day. Thank you, everyone.